Hello everyone. Today I am going to do my houseplant tour, and I thought I would start outside here with my plants that are currently outside but that will be coming inside soon. I think there's about 8 of them out here. They will be living in the basement with a grow light for the winter, overwintering for the most part. So first is my ficus taniki, fiddle leaf fig. We have Aglaonema sparkling Sarah, red siam, and pink siam. This is a little anthurium fingers down here that came back to life. It was a little stub, and I put it outside at the beginning of summer, and it's starting to regrow. And then my, I can't think of the name, Christmas bulb thing there, amaryllis. Will probably come back in. So then probably also make a bunch of cuttings of all my coleus out here that I'll bring in and put in the basement with the grow light. And then also my Hoyas in the hanging basket here. But let's go inside. So I'll start in the kitchen. We're not really going to go in the basement right there. This is the dining room. Probably head in there last. I actually have thrips in that room right now, so I don't love to be in there and then go around the other plants, but so I've just got my little micans cutting here, a little Easter cactus cutting, and a little piece of a chrysanthemum there on the sink. Then I've got 2 other plants in here. I do have one fake plant, that orchid, that I've had forever, but it's way too dark right there to put a real plant there, so. And then I have my Aglaonema etta rose here. And then just a cutting of silver sword there, and Aglaonema pink star here. And there's my little lost in the forest coffee cup there. That's my favorite plant store in this area. And so we'll head into the living room next. So I think it might be about 50-50 as far as how many plants are in this room and how many are in my dining room. Those are kind of the main plant areas. In the living room here, this is Philodendron silver sword here. It's got some big leaves. I just chopped it because it was outgrowing its pole. I've got a micans hanging here. We've got the lemon lime cordatum philodendron there. This one is a little shamrock plant here, oxalis. It's kind of facing the window, but then I've got my big monstera here, deliciosa, that needs to be probably repotted soon and get a new stake, but really likes living in that window, I think. But yeah, I need a stronger stake and probably a bigger pot because it's been a couple years since it's been repotted. And then on the wall here, I've got Syndapsis aegerius here. And then a regular golden pothos there, or Epipremnum aureum. So these are my 2 newest plants. They're just kind of hanging out here because most of my Aglaonemas live in the dining room. But I did discover thrips in the dining room last week, so I did not want to put my new plants in there. This one is Aglaonema black moonlight and Aglaonema amelia. And spinning around here, this one is Aglaonema BJ Friedman here. Aglaonema Golden Madonna. And I've got some cuttings here. This is kind of what's left of my Syndapsis Silver Hero, or whatever you want to call the silver one. Honestly, don't know if it's gonna make it or not, but I guess we'll see what happens. And then these are just some cuttings of Majestic, Philodendron Majestic. Up here, this is Philodendron Jungle Boogie. It's actually one of my oldest plants right there. It's getting to be fairly large. And then my one and only Calathea here. This is a Calathea makoyana, or the peacock Calathea. I've had that since December, which I'm pretty impressed that I've been able to keep a Calathea alive for that long, but so far so good. And then on the coffee table here, I've got some tall ones. Let's see, this is Philodendron tortum here. Philodendron soderoy with really tiny leaves. Doesn't want to size up for some reason. Philodendron moonlight. It's a new, very bright leaf here. I haven't quite opened all the way yet. This other newer leaf here got burned by the grow lights when it was in the cabinet, so that's why it's an older leaf but still has that moonlighty color to it. It's not really supposed to be like that. Let's see, this is the Metaphyllum Xanadu, I believe. We have Monstera Standleyana, or Monstera Cobra here. This is Philodendron Majesty, I believe. Yeah, some people call it Black Majesty. I believe the correct name is just Majesty. And then we'll go around to the other side here, because these are obviously all facing towards the window. So this one is, oh, I think I called those cuttings the wrong thing. The cuttings are from this plant here. This is not Majestic, this is Glorious. No, Splendid. Yeah, this Philodendron Splendid has very soft, velvety leaves. And I gave it a really long pole because I chopped like half of it off when I repotted it. So now it has more room to actually grow upward. This one is Philodendron Tahiti, which I'm not really sure what the difference between Tahiti and Mayoi is. That one just got the chop recently too. This one is Philodendron Atabapoense. And, oh, the other leaves are starting to turn this way up at the top. It's got these really pretty maroon, like dark colored backs to the leaves. And I recently repotted that one and I did not chop it because I just couldn't bring myself to do so. So he's got a super long pole as well. So hopefully I won't have to chop it for quite some time now, but this is actually my first philodendron right here. It is Philodendron Birkin. I'm not sure if I underwatered this at some point. Some of the older leaves are getting kind of funky, but and then it hasn't grown very fast, and it's mostly giving me all this really little growth here, but nothing as big as what those old leaves were. Then we have the cabinet corner here. I'm probably not going to be able to open the cabinet because I've got so much stuff stacked in front of it here, but we'll start with this shelf here. This is a Philodendron white wizard here. And we'll see, oh, I was going to say we'll see all three of the white variegated ones. Actually right next to it is Philodendron white knight. That one's not extremely variegated, but still pretty. Then we have variegated Philodendron burley marks next to that. It grows like crazy. Oops. I really like when it gets kind of half moonish leaves or a leaf with a big chunk of white on it like that. We have below that my original Philodendron pink princess here. It has more of like just the classic variegation. A decent amount though. Decent amount of variegation. I got that as like a tiny little cutting plant. And then I've got two of the narrow form monsteras here. And the name of that is escaping me, but you know, monstera. Down to the next shelf here, we have Philodendron. Oh gosh, name. Really dark colored one. It has the word heart in it. I think it has. Is it black heart? No. I cannot think of the name at the moment here. I have my original little Aglaonema red Siam here, growing in semi-hydro. And then this is my, gosh, names are like escaping me right now. I'm trying to think of all these names all at one time. Pothos, the one with the leaves like this. Manjula, yeah. Manjula, Pothos. Next shelf down we have Billietier. I've had that one for quite a while too, when I first started collecting philodendrons and was really into philodendrons. And then next to it is Philodendron Ring of Fire. These are probably very quickly going to outgrow this shelf, but then I have my Galaxy Pink Princess next to the cabinet here. Looks like it just gave me a almost completely pink leaf there, which is very pretty. This one's got the splashier variegation. And then behind it is Philodendron Camposportuanum, which is oddly another kind of velvety one. And it kind of grew up this shelf. This is the most mature shaped leaf that it got. But then it kind of started spilling all over the shelf here. And didn't really mature any from there. It's both lines are sticking out over here, it looks like. But yeah, I probably need to do something with that, chop it or something. Over here, so we've got Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, the one that looks like a little mini monstera. This is Philodendron, variegated one there. I feel like I'm calling it the wrong thing. Is it domesticum variegated? Something like that. I don't know right now. We have my Monstera Thai constellation here, which is kind of slowly turning back toward the cabinet. I turned it so its leaves faced the other way. And now it's in the process of turning itself back around there. This one's a really cool one. This is Philodendron Emerald Ice. That is the most recent one that got too big for the cabinet and kind of got evicted to out here. Let's see, we've got Philodendron Red Sun there. We have Philodendron Whipple Way here. That's a Christmas, or excuse me, Thanksgiving cactus there. I just recently repotted that and put my old one and like a little newer one together, so if I can ever get that thing to bloom, it'll actually have two colors of blooms, but Thanksgiving cactus doesn't really love to bloom in my house for some reason, so we'll see about that. But I almost missed one down here. This is a Gloriosum in the long pot here. And that plant really hates my house. Like, it got some leaves here once summer rolled around. I have a feeling if I keep this in the house here, these leaves are probably gonna all die again when winter comes and it gets kind of drier in here, but not the largest of leaves either that it's putting out, but and then this one right here is Philodendron 69686. I got that as like a tiny little cutting too, and it's kind of going crazy. Like, it's got a whole bunch of vines down in there, but some of the leaves are starting to get kind of the more mature shape here, like the more fish shaped almost kind of shape. So that's kind of cool. Then we have the cabinet. Debating on if I want to try to move some of these to open this. Maybe at least one door. Humidity is at 78% in there. Nice. So on the top here, that is Philodendron Spiritus Sancti. And then this tiny little barely clinging to life thing behind it is my old Spiritus Sancti. Let's see, we've got another one I can't think of the name of. Philodendron. I feel like it has a food name. I can't remember. Anywho, got my variegated heartleaf philodendron or cordatum back in the corner there, kind of growing up the corner. Getting some really pretty leaves. This one is my Prince of Orange. This one is the upright Philodendron Lemon Lime or Philodendron Golden Goddess. That one in the back there is Burley Marks Fantasy. There's actually two vines I recently chopped it. The one's just a little nub there, but those were like the first leaves from right above there. The bottom was just kind of bare, and it was getting out of control, so chopped it. And I don't name my plants how a lot of people do, but I do call that one Britney. It's named after the Britney Spears perfume Fantasy because it's a Burley Marks Fantasy philodendron. And then this one is Brantianum here. It's kind of unruly and just climbing up the wall, but it's doing good, so I guess that's a good thing. These are really pretty on that. Don't know how people ever get these to size up. I think it has to basically have perfect tropical conditions and a moss pole and all that stuff, but Even with the little leaves, it's still pretty. Silvery. So then over here, I have Philodendron melanochrysum. I recently chopped. Oh no, actually I restarted that one. So the taller vine is a cutting that I had rooted in soil, and then I put a bunch of little ones that were rooting in a prep box on the bottom there. I can't think of the name of the other velvety one behind it there. Kind of similar to melanochrysum. Velvety leaves, kind of a little bit more bluey colored almost on the older leaves once they harden off. This one I believe is called Philodendron tricolor, bicolor, I think. It's got the kind of red maroon backs, green fronts. The crazy thing is that like the petioles, number one, are really chunky, but the petioles are kind of half red and half green to match up with the corresponding side of the leaf, so that's kind of cool. Pretty sure that's called Philodendron bicolor. This one is Philodendron Wend Imbe variegated here. That one's kind of started to finally grow over the last like 6 months here since I repotted it. Wasn't growing very fast before that, and now it's given me a ton of new growth over the summer here. It's really pretty. And then we have Philodendron Thai Sunrise there in the back. And syngoniums never do very good for me. This is my syngonium milk confetti. And it's really because I'm kind of an underwaterer, so he did have some nicer leaves not too long ago, and then he kind of got dry and got mad. And then the bottom shelf is somewhat rehab types of plants. There's another melanochrysum there just because I had extra cuttings. This one is Philodendron Florida Beauty. It grows really slow for me, and it keeps giving me the like all variegated leaves, so that's probably why it's not growing very well. But I've had this at least a couple years, and this is all the bigger it is. And those are two of the original leaves that actually look how they should there. This is the top of my Philodendron Majestic in the back here. It was just getting out of hand and lost a lot of the lower leaves, so I just did a top cut, and it's propagating in the cabinet here. The one in front of it here is Philodendron Corsinianum. It's not doing amazing. I recently repotted it and put it in there. It's actually only given me one new leaf the whole time I've owned it. Maybe two. It had 2 leaves when I got it, and it has 2 leaves now. That's all I know. But because at least one of the original leaves had died off. This is actually the first man-made Philodendron hybrid, way back in the 1800s. So interesting fact about that one. This was a clearance Philodendron Golden Crocodile in the back here. Yeah, it just hasn't done that great. I'm hoping, I just moved that in the cabinet recently here too. In fact, this whole bottom shelf here, I think I recently moved in here. So hopefully it'll like that and grow a little bit nicer for me. And then this one is Philodendron El Choco Red. Yeah, this one just is not happy, and I think the only way it'll be happy is by being in the cabinet, so it got moved in there as well, and we'll see what happens with that. But okay, we have a couple more rooms to go here. Oh, those pots all stacked in the corner there are, I've been repotting plants, and those are all my catch pots. I'm still kind of in the process of repotting, so I still might use them, so I haven't hauled them downstairs yet, but I think I'm down to mainly 4 and 5 inch pots there, which I'm not sure if I have a whole lot left that those will work for, but so we'll go down the hallway here. Oh, this is my favorite room of my house, by the way. I really love mid-century modern and mid-century. So I really like the real stone floor like they would have had back then. I mean, it is from back then. And just like the whole styling of this room. Used the fireplace once in a great long while. Makes the air really dry, so I have to run a humidifier when I use that in winter. But so down the hallway here. This couple of rooms are not going to go into because they don't have any plants. Bathroom, no plants in there. And then on the right here is just like the master bedroom or our bedroom. No plants in there either. It's usually really dark in there. And then this is the guest bedroom at the end of the hall here. There are some plants in here. Just a few. So we've got another philodendron here, which probably needs more light than it's getting in this room, but this is Philodendron UPI. Love the crazy shaped leaves. They remind me of like a fish or a fish skeleton or something. And then in the window here, this is Philodendron Longleobotum hanging here. It's kind of big and wide, and that's why it works good to hang it. This is one of my paper cranes from my friend Richie from the YouTube channel Grow Folds. He's just kind of living on the plant hanger there. And then I've got another plant that is really overdue for chopping here. Philodendron squamiferum, or squamiferum. I hear people pronounce that both ways. This has got like the coolest leaf petioles here. They're like super fuzzy looking. I don't think I have any new leaves, but when they first come out, that is like red and fuzzy. He's got some pretty big leaves. It's just like outgrowing the pole though, so there's a big piece flopped over. There's 3 plants in there. It looks like the next one is starting to overshoot the top. And then there's a third one. I must be on the other side there. I can't tell, but I'm assuming that one's getting close to getting too tall for that pole as well. And then on the table down below here are where my Marantas live. This is Maranta Lemon Lime here. Believe it or not, this is a southwest facing window, and the Marantas seem to really enjoy it here. Even though this seems like it probably gets a really high amount of light, but I guess they don't mind it. Then next to it is my red Maranta, which probably needs to be repotted. And then a silver band Maranta, which that one's looking like it's mad at me right now. Should probably see if that needs to be watered or what's going on with it, but yeah, I think it needs to be watered. I should probably check that when I'm done with the video here, but the light is a little bit blinding in that window, and it's probably kind of loud in here with the air conditioner. So let's get out of here. So then we've got one room left here, just the dining room. Honestly, do have one plant in the basement too, but I'm not gonna take you down there just to show you my one little Tradescantia that's growing in there. So there's quite a few plants in the dining room here too. This is where a lot of my favorites live because most of my Aglaonema collection lives in this room. Most of the plants on the table are all Aglaonemas. So actually, we'll start out showing those, I suppose. So we have Aglaonema green papuma here, if it'll focus. Boy, I might be forgetting some of these names of these two. I feel like this is Jolie, but I don't think I have Jolie. This is really similar patterning to a Jolie though. Just cannot think of the name right now. This one is Aglaonema Silver Bay. We have Aglaonema Light of Diamond. Aglaonema Macana Horn, I think. Macana Horn, something like that. This one is Red Mahaseti, I believe is how you pronounce that. This one's kind of a really fast grower. It's given me a lot of new growth since I brought it home this spring. This is my little, God, there's too many names. Night Sparkle here. And it's not doing real good. I think it's because it dries out faster because it's in a smaller pot, but I don't know. It's getting a new leaf. I guess that's a good sign. This green one here is Philodendron Fat Boy. Actual proper name of that is Philodendron martianum. And I've got my other paper crane from Richie here. It lives in that philodendron. And then we have Philodendron White Panama here. And right next to it is Philodendron Pink Panama. And I have a feeling I'm gonna forget the name of this one. Oh, this one is Aglaonema Baby Tiger. Let's see here. I have a feeling I'm gonna forget the name of that one. It's kind of common one. Cannot think of the name. It's kind of struggling too. I think it got underwatered at some point. Let's see here. We'll come back to that one. This one is Aglaonema Lemon Lime. This is just another Monstera behind it there. Monstera Peru. This one is Aglaonema Orange Stardust. The next one by it is Orange Zombat. That one's really pretty too. I really like both of these a lot. And then let's see here. This one is a Syngonium Chiapens variegated. Just lost a leaf recently, but still has two really pretty half moons. This one is obviously the newest one where it's more yellowy colored yet. This one is Philodendron Florida here. Grows like a weed. And then we should be down to the ones on the floor and the ones on this plant shelf here. And the phone doesn't want to focus. There we go. Trying to think how the heck to even do this. We'll start over here in Thrip Corner. So As I was saying, I discovered last week that there were thrips, and I actually threw out a plant that was up there. It was a Philodendron Brazil, but then all these ones with the sticks here had them, so I chopped them all really short. In fact, this one pretty much has no leaves. This one is Philodendron mexicanum, the one with the tiny baby leaf in there. Philodendron painted lady, Philodendron white princess, which that completes the trio of the white variegated philodendrons there. This one is a really big leafed Philodendron Florida Ghost. And ever since I moved it, it got too tall to be on the shelf. And ever since I moved it there, it still gets a lot of light, but it's not really giving the really nice ghosty leaves anymore. Like, they come in kind of light, but then they darken up pretty fast. You can kind of see some of the variegation on that one still, but then we have Aglaonema Snow White. I hear this one called Snow White and Spring Snow. I think I bought it labeled as Spring Snow, but I'm pretty certain they're the same philodendron, or excuse me, same Aglaonema. And then the tall guy here, he's lost a lot of lower leaves this summer, but this is kind of a Jose Bono. It's like a non-variegated one. It had some variegation on a couple of the old original leaves when I first got it at Home Depot, but it just pretty much has only ever given me green leaves. And that's probably why it grows like a monster and is so tall. So at some point, could possibly add one more pole. But with how bare the bottom is getting, I think I might want to air layer the top of that and just chop it soon. But leaves are really big on this plant. I mean, pretty big, I guess. Maybe bigger than my hand, but. And then why don't we'll start with the plants that are on the floor here, which I've kind of accumulated over the course of this summer. And my plan until I found the thrips was that I wanted to try to move some of them up onto the shelf, like maybe on this one where they don't get as much really, really bright light. But I just don't really want to move stuff around with the thrips situation going on. I've given every plant in my house systemic granules over the past few days here. And then over the past 2 days, I did get every single plant in this room sprayed with insecticidal soap, except I haven't done the ones on the table yet. And it takes a really long time because I pretty much take every single one outside and spray it and let it dry and bring it back in. But I kind of want to work my way through the entire house just because I want to have the best chance of getting rid of the thrips and not thinking they're gone and then having them come back. So, but anyway, let's start in on the floor here. A lot of my newer Aglaonemas are down here. This one is Aglaonema Ruby. It's a really pretty one. This one is Aglaonema Frosted Ghost next to it. Let's see, coming through here then. This one is Pink Barami. Aglaonema Wishes is the little one there. Let's see, this one is Pink Kanza. And it kind of looks like the color of the regular Kanza. I'm not sure for sure. Like, the grower had it labeled as pink. Maybe it's just a really ready color of pink, I don't know. Either way, it's a Kanza. This one is Aglaonema Red Stardust. We have Aglaonema pink emerald here. Has some really pink leaves down in there. I'm hoping, being close to the grow lights here, that it starts giving more pink. This really light colored one is Aglaonema white snow dreams. I really love the kind of half moon leaf. It's almost like opposite variegation of the rest of the plant on the left side there. Let's see here, names. My goodness, I can't think of the name of this one. And it's a newer one too, which is why it's kind of silly. It's pink. Oh, Aglaonema black pink. This one is Aglaonema green bowl. Let's see, this one with the red on the newer leaves is Red Mojo. This is one of my favorites here, the really stripy one. That is Aglaonema Golden Hope. And that one's got a couple little babies starting in the bottom, which is exciting. Kind of one there and one there. So that makes me extremely happy. This one is Aglaonema Lucky with the also kind of really white leaves. And I've noticed, I think when this one gets a little too dried out before I watered it, it gets these really waterlogged looking leaves like that. They just get soggy looking. And usually they kind of go back to normal, so I'm hoping it doesn't lose those leaves. But this really orangey pinky one here is Aglaonema Cleopatra. The really red one is Red Majesty. And then the really camo looking one here is Green Army. And then we have to go back around the table because I can't walk through there anymore because there's too many Aglaonemas on the floor. So I need to figure something out. I've been like, are there any plants I could get rid of? And I have gotten rid of a few over the course of the summer, but just not enough to fully rearrange and get everything up off the floor there. So my neon pothos or Epipremnum aureum and the kind of marble queen snow queen one on the top, those were some of my original plants when I started collecting back in like about 2021, and both of them have grown down onto the floor, and I'm gonna have to do something with this probably soon, but they're coming across the floor here, and the vine that's coming off of the marble queen or snow queen, the reason that one's growing so fast is because it's reverted to just plain green, so it's basically like a jade pothos then. But and then I do have some more Aglaonemas on the floor over on this side. This one is Aglaonema Maria. This one is, names. Shoot, I feel like it has a guy's name in it. I cannot think of the name of this one right now. I should have practiced this before I filmed. This one is Aglaonema Golden Fluorite. And then we have Aglaonema Sparkling Sarah, also known as Dazzling Gem. This is my Philodendron Golden Dragon behind those. And then behind him, that is a Bipennifolium. I think it might be the Aria one, but I can't remember for sure. It grows kind of weird, and when I was spraying things for the thrip situation in here this morning, that thing was actually laying down into the snake plant and growing all the way up to the white trim on the wall, and it was just so much to move that I just chopped it and got rid of that part that was going off the stick. So And then we've got the, speaking of snake plant, that's what's in the corner there. AKA Sansevieria, AKA Dracaena now, I guess, with the reclassification. And that one's getting a little baby on the bottom there, which is encouraging because it's had a lot of pieces die off over the course of the summer, so I'm glad it's getting a new piece there. Way down on the bottom here, there's one plant on the bottom shelf. That's just another Philodendron micans there. Philodendron Florida Bronze on the top shelf of that one. I don't know if, I feel like I'm pretty sure that there were thrips on this plant. So I think this new leaf's coming in a little bit funky, but they come in kind of like a bronzy color before they harden off to the green. And then we have just a regular Philodendron cordatum or heartleaf Philodendron, just the regular green one on the shelf behind that, kind of trailing down to the floor back in there. This one is a Scindapsus exotica. It's a really pretty patterns to the leaves. And this type of variegation that most Scindapsus get that has the really silvery color is called blister variegation. Those are actually like a blister on the leaf, basically, that is causing that silvery coloration. Oh, that one's got a lot of silver. I like that. Let's see here. Then we got, we'll get behind him first here. On the back side here, I've got a snake plant, Sansevieria Moonshine, the really light colored one there. And that's actually a new plant that it grew. The part of it that looks really nice there and really light colored. And then I've got my Monstera deliciosa Aurea variegated here in the front. I'm a little bit disappointed because I know that this one definitely had some thrips on it before I sprayed things. Because it was starting to get nice and tall here, but now I think between the thrips and kind of getting underwatered a couple times this summer, some of the variegation on the newer leaves here is actually turning brown. And maybe just because they're closer to the grow lights too, but so that is kind of disappointing. But that is the newest leaf. I can't even tell if I'm aiming at it or not here, because it's too tall up for me to see the phone screen. And then we've got Syngonium Frosted Heart in the back here. This one's growing kind of funky, but it's got beautiful, like, icy variegation. I feel like I see this called Frosted Heart, which is what I first heard of it as, but I feel like there's another name people call this that does have the word ice in it, like Ice Heart, or I don't know. Yeah, those are really cool looking leaves on there. So then back to the top here. That is the Snow Queen or Marble Queen pothos. It has pretty much every type of variegation. Some are just regular, but this one's really, this front one here is basically Snow Queen. Like, some of the leaves are just completely white almost with just a little bit of green. That one in the back there is a Euphorbia African milk tree. That is actually one of my first plants I got too, both of these on the top shelf here. That one's the only succulent type plant that I've been able to keep alive since back then. The rest of my original succulents all died from underwatering, but this is my Raven ZZ plant, the really dark colored one. I'm definitely going to forget the names of cactuses. I cannot think of it right now, but I've got this variegated one here. I feel like it starts with a G, the name of it, but I got him, I got my little ogre-eared jade here, another little cactus, and then one of those cylindrical snake plants back behind there. It's getting some little babies in the bottom too, if you can see that from that angle. I'm trying to think how to do this because I can't really walk back here. I'm of course going to space out the name of this really big philodendron here. It gets really yellowy leaves. Like its newer leaves remind me of the painted lady. Like they come out very yellow. That one is my Philodendron Orange Princess. It doesn't really have any newer leaves, so it doesn't really have any super orangey variegation on it right now. This one is Philodendron Rio here. And that is my favorite of the cordatum type, like trailing philodendrons. I just love the like white and silver variegation that it gets. Oh, I zoomed in somehow though. Shoot. Let's not do that. But yeah, those leaves are just beautiful. That is my variegated Oranta back there. It's not doing the greatest right now. Kind of dried out a couple times, so it doesn't have much going on at the moment. This one is Aglaonema bamboo, or some people call it Aglaonema rice, I believe. And then this one is just little stubs right now. That is my Syngonium red arrow, or Lanocardi road. All the leaves kind of died on that. I think it dried out and or thrips got them, but it looks like it's starting to come back. It's got a little sprout there from since I chopped it off. This next one here is Enjoy Pothos, or Epipremnum aureum. Goes all the way down to the floor, kind of just starting to touch the floor. I actually moved that up a shelf when I was taking everything down, spraying it, so because it was really trailing across the floor over this other direction. Over here we have another Micans on the corner, trailing down. Another one of those cylindrical Sansevieria. This one is Philodendron Orange Marmalade, and lucky for us it has a new leaf here, so you can see how orange they are, and then they kind of turn into more of a yellow variegation as they mature. But very beautiful. The next shelf down is where that neon pothos lives. It's probably why he's crawling across the whole floor here, because it's on a lower shelf, but if I move him up though, he's gonna block you from seeing the other shelf, so and that is why on the next shelf down I just have one plant, and that is the booby cactus there. And that looks like it's they're so slow growing. I was gonna say it looks like it's in danger of not fitting down there, but I mean eventually that's what'll happen. But and then let's go around the table to get to the last two bottom shelves over there. I just love the like sea of Aglaonema look on the floor there. If you look at the table from up high, like all the colors. But so we've got 2 more shelves to go here. So I've got my pink Syngonium. I'm pretty sure it's a Neon Robusta. It wasn't really labeled when I bought it, but it's a very pink colored one. I've got an Aglaonema, and this one I actually don't know the name of for sure. It wasn't labeled because it came from a big box store, but I have just kind of been saying that it's Aglaonema Red Valentine, but I'm not 100% sure if that is correct or not. And then I've got the Epipremnum, the Japanese pothos. This is the Champs Ulysses World Series, I believe, is what that one is. He goes all the way across that whole shelf there. I love the very bright green color. And then last shelf here. Oh, and the grow light's falling again. I need to fix that. The last shelf here, that is a Peperomia Jenny, I believe, or yeah, I think Jenny or Jelly, one or the other. So we've got that Peperomia. This is my little Easter cactus there. And then just another Syngonium that I do not know the name of because it's from a big box store, but I feel like I had a name that I thought this was called, and I just can't even remember what that is, but so yeah, that should be all the plants. I hadn't counted in a while, and I counted for this video, and I've got about 155 plants at the moment here. And then that's in the house, and then there are those other 8 that will come in pretty soon here because it's going to be getting cold outside pretty soon, but oh, that got really bright for a second there. But yeah, so that's my whole houseplant tour. And I think I have the plants that make up the largest majority of the collection. I think I've got about 62 philodendrons and right around 40 aglaonemas. So the philodendrons were my original favorite when I first started getting into plants. And aglaonemas have kind of taken over my top place. They're definitely my favorite genus. But yeah, I should actually probably end this tour because it's getting to be almost an hour long. But so yeah, I hope you enjoyed, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.